Just making sure that everything is working over on the YouTube side as well. I think now it actually is live. It hadn't gone live yet. Just a quick test message. Hello? Is that going over to YouTube too? That is going over to YouTube too. How wonderful. How is everybody doing today? I hope everybody is having a good day. It is Monday indeed. But as promised, I am going to be here. And we're going to be here for a while. We're going to do a lot of cool stuff. Starting off, of course, with making that early bird redeem as promised. And then later on, we are also going to be working on some crazy shit I've been up to over the last few weeks. And you guys are going to help me test it. And of course, also, any questions? Any questions at all, you are more than welcome to ask. I will try and answer them. I'm just gonna see if this works. I hope it does. I'm not sure if it will. It does! Fantastic, fantastic. I can highlight your messages as well, which means I need my highlight button. There it is. Hey, Missing Go, how are you doing? How you doing? Hey, Hungry, how are you? Honestly, Saknika, I understand. I understand. Factorio is such a good game. It really is. You've yet to play it, which feels like a sin since DSP and Satisfactory are our top 10 games. I have not played Factorio, but I've watched somebody. Yes, you can ask silly questions here if you really want to. I think the only thing, which is the big difference between Factorio and Satisfactory, is Factorio is very combat focused, right? There is this combat faction that you have to go against, which you are forced to engage with, which I think might not be my thing, but we'll see. And yes, of course, you are allowed to ask all the silly questions. You're in charge of the trains, your brother handles resource conversion, and our friend John makes science. That sounds awesome, though. It's cool that it has that multiplayer functionality built right into it, right? And that is something that I do appreciate about that game in particular. By the way, guys, new shirt. What do you think? I got new Hawaii shirts in for on stream, which I'm very happy about. Very, very happy about, to be honest. Just checking in, making sure everything is here. Yes, it is. It seems so. And this is working as well. Lovely, lovely, lovely. The multiplayer part is really nice about that game. I'm gonna be honest. I may have gotten into Manor Lords and it doesn't want to let me go. So if we get everything done in good time, I might play some Manor Lords while chatting with you guys as well. But right now, we are gonna jump into some stuff.
Welcome to the
hey,
Pie
Anxious
Can I take
Gamer,
your
how are
order?
you doing? How are you doing? So, let's bring you over to the other side. As you can see, I am using the same OBS for this channel as I am for the other channel because I accidentally deleted my Content Delta streaming OBS, which happens apparently. So I'm gonna also create that new in the near future. Maybe on this channel, maybe I'll do it offline. Maybe I'll do a bit here and there. But I've edited a little bit. I can at least see your chats. This is not even a channel that is on Twitch. We are not even affiliated, so it's all good. We need to teach you backups. No. I had backups Missing Go, but then I have just recreated my OBS completely from scratch. Everything is new. I've deleted all the old settings. Everything was gone. I could just delete the backups and make new ones. Yep. So, sometimes I do dumb shit too. So, what you guys are looking at right now, what you're seeing here, is not the OBS I'm streaming from. This is a secondary OBS that I have set up. And also a secondary, what you call that? Streamer.Bot that I have set up. And there's some cool stuff in here, but what we are going to focus on first is making that early bird redemption. Now, I was talking about this in a video, and I also talked about this a little bit on my other channel. And the idea of the early bird redemption is that in the first 30 to 60 minutes of a stream, your viewers can come in and they can do a specific redemption, which automatically turns on the moment you start streaming, and automatically turns off on the end. Yeah, we really do miss and go. So, because we want to be able to test it, of course, we are going to have to test it correctly. And to test it correctly, we are going to make it in 2 ways. I'm going to make it so it's a channel point redemption for those people that have those. And I'm also going to make it so you can use it as a command for the people that want that. Hey, Joe Vitch over on YouTube. How are you doing? How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing amazing. I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah, I'm doing really, really well. Feeling good today. So, I have already made a scene here called Early Bird Redemption. So, really the first thing that we need to do, and this is something I do whenever I design something, is add a color source. And I will just call this, I won't even call this C, I just call this color or design background. And we're gonna make that like a dark green. I tend to make it a dark green because a lot of stuff you can see on a dark green. And it kind of doesn't burn your eyes out, which is also a positive thing. And the only reason I do this, and I'll lock it in, is because now I can see it when I make black backgrounds and see-through things a lot easier. So, for example, if we go with another color source.
Welcome to the Pie Pub. Can I
right?
take your order?
And we want that to be quite dark. And maybe we want this to be see-through. We can now do a... which one is it? Oh, do I not have that installed? I think actually it's color correction. Yeah, you can reduce the opacity. And I can actually see the opacity. Hey, Mr. Cocky, welcome in, welcome in. How are you doing? Thank you so much for the follow. Look at this. Now we actually can, like, see it when we take something and reduce the opacity and that sort of stuff. And seeing that that is usually the way I start every single one of my builds, that is something that I quite like doing. So I'm just going to make that like a 0.25. And it gives you a slight layer there. Then we're going to add an advanced mask. And the advanced mask simply puts a little box in. It reduces the size in which we can see things. And we're going to set the width to 1920 and the height to 1080. Just to start off with, I'm just going to turn it off anyway. Right now, we'll get back to that in a little bit. Hey, Amanda, how are you doing? Then, for our early bird redeem, we of course are going to have to, we're going to need a few things. I don't just want this to be a sound redeem or something that pops up in chat.
Jolly.
I want this to be a little bit
Pub.
special.
Can I take your order?
Hey, young warthog, how you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. So, what we're going to start off with is a text. And I will call this text, early bird username. And I'm just going to type username because we're going to have Streamer.Bot handle all of this later on. Now, I like using Montserrat. You can use whatever you want, really. I'll use Montserrat bold, and we'll keep it white for now.
Oh, jolly.
We
Welcome
might
to the Pie
change
Pub.
that
Can
later.
I take your order?
Hey, Chance, how you doing? Thank you so much for the follow, you absolute legend. Thank you very much. And we will also add another one. Let's go with text. Early bird. And we'll do tagline. This one I know is never going to change, right? This is me saying they are an early bird. So we'll go light. Let's go light on this one. Make it nice and thin, and we're just gonna say is a hashtag early bird. And we can change the color if we want. Let's set the color to orange. Why not? And then we cancel it. Because we are silly. Is an hashtag early bird. There we go. Set that to Montserrat again. Yeah, I'm gonna put that to light. I like that sort of combo of light and bold. It works really, really well. And let's put that there. We can put that there. For now, right? We could change it later on. There's no issue changing this later on, but we do have to think of kind of a design. And for the design, I am thinking something which I do like doing, something which I do quite a lot, is having like a circle and then with a rounded rectangle floating off to the side in a sort of Android alert, maybe an iPhone alert, as if a notification comes up, right? So that is what we're going to do here. Which means if we want to really do this notification style, this is gonna have to be next to each other. Do you have to set up the OBS layers first before you start doing the Streamer.Bot? No, you technically don't. But because I want to be able to test things, I do. And the only thing I'm going to do here is transform. I just want this to be the exact same size. Transform, paste, transform. There we go. Now they're the exact same size. And the username bit is going to change later. Hey, Lavender, how are you doing? It is I, the Frenchiest fry. Let's leave those like this. Like, we don't have to have an exact setup yet, right? We can change that in a little bit. I do think I may have... No, there's only one space there. It looks kerned wrong. AI is getting crazy. Yeah, you can make things match each other in OBS. Shall I show you something really cool, Saknika? You see how this is very off-center, right? This does not look good, this off-center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these two. And I'm going to go
Welcome
group
to the
selected
Pub.
items.
Can
And
I
I'm
take
going to
your
call
order?
this group early bird text. And now I go Control D and it just centers. It's in the middle of the screen now. Which means if I just move my arrows around, if I do this, I can use the arrows now to move it across the screen. So I can do Control D, hold Shift, and move it up or down, and I can align it exactly in the center in such a way that it actually matches. So you don't have to do anything. Yeah, it's a super simple way to make things centered, and it's probably one of my favorite features, and nobody talks about it. Another one. So I'll use the background for this, right? The color source. Let's actually, just to give you guys an example, let's make one more color source. We'll make that one dark red. I can shrink it like this, right? If I hold Shift, oh, you can't see that on this. That's not useful. One sec. Do I have an image that I can use? That would be better. Let me see. Let me see. Yes, I do have an image. I have a me. It is me. Yeah? So, if you can pull this around as much as you want, right? If you want to shrink it and size it up, you just grab the sides and pull it in or pull it out. However, if you hold Alt down and then pull, it crops. And you can crop from the bottom. You can crop from the top. Now, most people know that one. What most people don't know is if you hold Shift and you pull, you become wide. You can also become tall. If you ever want to stretch something. If you do Control F, it fills the screen. Control D centers it. And Control R resets it, resets the transformation. You know, I thought that was a good stretching. Yes, that is how you become tall. You unlock your proportions and go yoink. That is how it works. You're right. Yeah, that's also the only way to do it, in all honesty. Literally the only way to do it. But that's okay. Hey, Specking. Apparently those work on this channel. Okay, clearly we need a dedicated OPS for this. But we'll do that at a different point. But yeah, those are sort of the things that you need to know. And another thing that we need to do here, specifically with the username, is transform. Edit transform. And we're gonna set the bounding box type to scale to inner bounds. Hey, Ash. Now that makes it bigger. The reason we wanted to scale to inner bounds is now we can drag this over here and see how the text is resizing itself to fit the box. Yeah, that means if you have people with longer usernames, their username gets adjusted to the size of the box. Now, the only thing I do want to do, because as I stretch it this way, you can see the username is sort of centered, but I want it to be close to the other text. So we're going to set this to alignment right, vertical alignment center. And that doesn't want to work because it's overruled over here. I said alignment center right, please. There we go. And now, no matter how long this name is going to be, it will always bound itself to the size of the box. If you have a 4-letter name or a 10-letter name, it doesn't matter. So we're going to keep that there. And now I'm going to lock this in. We're just going to lock it. And we're going to take our color source that we created earlier as a background. I'm going to filter that. Actually, let me first quickly rename this, because this will be color early bird background, and this will be text. And now what I am going to do is I'm going to just take the advanced mask. I'm gonna take the width down a little bit, take the height down a little bit. Is that centered? It is. Okay. I want that a little less high, to be honest. Go on. Yeah, that's nice. Little less wide. Maybe we'll do 1250. That's not wide enough. 1300. 1320. There we go. Make sure that this one is centered, which it says it is now, but it clearly isn't. So I am going to ungroup these things. Why are you saying you're centered while you're not? That's okay. Groups sometimes do these things, and we can fix it like this. Lovely. Okay, then we're just gonna go in the advanced mask again. We're scrolling down, pulling the corner radius in to get like a pill shape. There we go. That is sort of the basis of this early bird redeem done. We're not done yet, but we're gonna continue. Hey, Neverband, how you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing amazing. I quite like that. I quite like the look of that. We're gonna work on it a bit more. We're gonna make sure it looks a little more flashy. One of the things that you can do, and this is a little trick that I learned early on, is give it a gradient. Once you give it a gradient, you tend to get a much better result on your text. It looks a lot better. However, we currently can't see the gradient. And I don't know why. Gradient, please. Oh, because the gradient colors are both... Okay, now we can see the gradient. Let's set that to 90 degrees. But this doesn't look too good. The reason it doesn't look too good, because the gradient is too harsh. We need a very light gradient. A little more than that. We upsize the... Yeah, there we go. Now we can see it a bit better. There? Yeah, let's do that. Because it just gives a little bit of depth. It is a beautiful Monday indeed. It is a beautiful Monday. We gotta love it. We're gonna do the same with the early bird. Except here I'm gonna just... don't want it vertical. No. I'm just gonna make the gradient a little more extreme. By shrinking the gradient size. Where is that? Oh, you can't do that with this one. You need the gradient source for that. Okay, we'll leave it like this then. We'll leave it like this. That is fine. That is fine. So, right now, we have this set up. We need one more thing before we can do anything. And that is a browser source. And the browser source is going to be the early bird. What kind of early bird will this be? This will be the avatar. Because I also want to show your avatar the moment that you redeem the early bird redeem. And we're also going to give this an advanced mask. By the way, if you guys don't have the advanced mask plugin for OBS, get it. It is so easy to use and super powerful. Because I could just set the shape to circle, make the radius 150, and there we go. That is what is going to be the avatar once this gets redeemed. Now, I'm going to put this on this side. Just like that. This is how I want it to pop in later, right? And then we're going to take the background and give it a little bit more opacity. I just want to be able to see it a little bit better. Maybe 35%-ish is fine. We're going to take all those four. We're going to go and group those. Wait. Oh, it's because the background also counts as part of the group, which is not what I want. Okay, let's ungroup that. Let's see if I can make the change here a little bit. Put that there. Put that... I mean, that is not centered correctly. Now it is. I will do the same on this side. And we just get that a little bit down. There we go. Okay. And now we will grab the background again, and I'm just gonna limit the size of the background, because that is gonna make this whole thing a lot easier to do. Do you use anything for mass installing all your OBS plugins? Additionally, have you tried the Task Manager OBS plugin? I have tried the Task Manager OBS plugin. I didn't feel it gave me a lot of information. Do I use anything to mass install my plugins? No. What I do use over on my streaming OBSs is the StreamUp's update checker. So I make sure that all the updates that whenever a plugin gets updated, it automatically tells me, hey, there's an update. Do you want to download it? Do you want to install it? It was made by Andy Lippy and his team, and it's a fantastic, fantastic tool. Their plugin installer is also pretty good. It's just not always up to date, and that can sometimes be a problem. Hey, DJ Ransborg, how are you doing? Yeah, so sometimes what happens, Missingo, is that the update installer is behind on the update checker. Which is why I just use my own, like I download them manually. How you doing, Ransborg? I hope you're doing well today. I hope you're doing amazing. So we now have this as a group, which means with Control D we can center it. And that is the design, the basic design, actually done. I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well. However, of course, there's not much it does right now. It doesn't do anything. We still have to get the avatar to populate. We still have to do all this. That's because Andy said he has to keep it up to date by hand. Exactly, and I know why it is, Chance. But because I started using, I started using OBS before Andy Lippy had sort of started the whole automation service, and I know how to download them, I know how to install them, I know how to troubleshoot them after that. I just use them manually. The only thing that I do think is absolutely amazing in that particular plugin is the fact that you can uninstall. And you can uninstall just the plugin that is causing issues. In my case, I have to go in, find the right files, hope I find the right files and all of the right files, and delete them. Yeah, in that case, that is true, Missing Go. That does help. That does help. But yeah, that's why I prefer using manual downloads, but I do use the update checker because that one is automatic. And it's really, really good as well. It's really, really quick. So we have this now done. Let's open up some Streamer.Bot, shall we? And the first thing I'm going to do for Streamer.Bot is I am going to add a new group called Early Bird. And the rest of the things that you guys see in the Streamer.Bot, we will hopefully be testing later, which is going to be interesting. And the thing that I want to do for the Early Bird first is we're going to make the redeem. The whole, how do we make it start when we start the stream and then stay on for a certain amount of time and then turn off again? We will get to that in a little bit. First, we're going to set it up so that it actually works. And so I'm just going to call this the Early Bird. And this is going to be the redemption. So it's either the redemption or the command, whichever way you want. And what this does... Hey, Mama Sugar, how are you doing? What this does is very simple. Like, I'm making this very basic. You can update this in many, many different ways. But what we're going to do is we are going to grab a set GDI text. And that is going to be user. I hope this is legible for everybody. You can't size it up. It's really frustrating. So it's... %, user percentage. And that's all I need to do to update the username. To update the avatar, I'm going to OBS again, sources, set browser source URL, and that is going to be a little bit different. It is %, target, user, profile, image, URL. It also says it here on the bottom. Click OK. And now, if we would run a test trigger, if I test it, it should automatically grab one of your names and one of your avatars and shove it into the redeem. It does not. Lovely. That's what we wanted. Why is then the question. And that is because it is a test. Yep, that does not work like this. Fair point. Wait 1 second. My headset decided to turn itself off. Why does that not work? Oh, right, because there's no user. Exactly, if it worked the first time, you didn't need testing. Agreed. Okay, so we are going to give this a command. We're going to say command triggered. And then we are going to say exclamation point early bird. And we'll say there's a 15-second user cooldown and no global cooldown. So if somebody now goes exclamation point early bird, it should actually update. Oh wait, there's one thing I need to do so that YouTube can test it as well, because this should work for both sides. At least the easy way. Your avatar will not update on YouTube because it doesn't allow you to. Hello, command. Mama Sugar just typed it. Can you do something? That did not grab it. Why? Am I not logged in? Is that it? I'm not logged in. One moment. That would explain things, to be honest. If it can't read chat, that's going to be very, very difficult for it to do. Fantastic. Hi. No, exactly, Mama Sugar. And I don't prepare these things, right? So I know what I want to do. But for the rest, we just build it as we go. That's what I like to do in these live streams, because it also shows you guys that, you know, I might edit videos together about Streamer.Bot on the Content Delta channel. That doesn't mean I do everything correctly. Yeah, absolutely, Light Wraith. Okay, let me just give this a test because I should now be logged in. Okay, this works. Like, it is updating because I just saw that happen. Mama Sugar also, the redeem also came in. But there is something that we need to do. The thing that we need to do, is quite important, is because this is a command, normally you don't have to do this. But because this is a command, we need to get more data. So we're going to go Twitch, user, get user info for target, and set the source type to user. That should give us the information that we need. And then in the redemption... Nope, that's the wrong one. Wait. I hate that this is not shorter, just by default. No, this is the last one. Okay. Hey, Warthog over on Twitch as well. How you doing? How you doing? Let's test this. Early bird. There we go. Now it grabs it. Very nice. So if you want to test it, you can do so now. There's Juice. There's J-Mac. Would you also need a slight delay for many people to redeem? Yes. We're gonna work that out in a little bit. So, what we've now done... Hey, Door! Welcome in, welcome in! So what we've now done is we've set it up, right? It works. But there's a few things that we're still going to do. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to add a queue to this. So in the action queues, we're going to add an early bird queue. And we're going to set it to blocking. Which means that whenever somebody redeems it, it will do the action before it moves on to the next person. It doesn't do it all at once. That's step one. Step two is that we are going to have to find some sort of sound alert. And luckily, that is one thing that I did prepare. However, I don't know where I left it. So I'm gonna have to find it quickly. Audio files. Alerts. No. Sound effects. Maybe. No. Redemptions. Audio redemptions. There we go. And we'll go with... Well, it has to be a bird, right? So we'll go with this one. And let's just set this to... So we can all hear it. I quickly need to set this up. To... Where is it? Audio. Monitoring device. That one. And we're going to turn these off. Hopefully this works. Yes! We have a duck. And it quacks. Let's rename it quickly. We'll go... What shall we call this? We'll call this SFX for sound effect. Early bird. Quack. And the cool thing is, you can then also set this up so that whenever somebody comes in, it grabs a random sound effect. Yeah, if it sounds like a duck, it's an early bird. Little louder. There we go. Okay. That makes sense. Where is a good place to get sound bites? Juice, there are a lot of free sites that you can use. But I have a subscription to Epidemic Sound. It is probably one of my absolute favorite sites to get all my sound and music from. Just because it has everything, like 50,000 sound effects, 10,000 bespoke songs in many different moods, many different genres, and you can use them all over the internet if you subscribe, which why I think it's really good. Like, you won't risk, oh, I put it on YouTube, now I have to put a disclaimer in my description, or I need to worry about being copyright struck. No, you just say this Twitch channel, this YouTube channel, this TikTok channel, this website, and you can use it everywhere. But only on one channel for each, with the cheap one, which is, I think, $15 or £15. Hey, Cornelius, how you doing? I thank you very, very much. That is awesome. Thank you for coming in with that message. That's very kind of you. Yeah, I love making these videos. There's a new one. It's just come back to me, and I think it's going to be really good as well. That one's going up tomorrow at the usual time. I'm doing very, very well. Per month, Juice. Yeah, if you're looking for free music to use, I can highly recommend Stream Tunes. Let me just... Boop. Stream Tunes, double E, by the way. Don't get confused. They do, it's called DMCA free, right? But it's not. It is stream safe music.
Can I
There's
take your order?
also Pedro. Thank you so much for the follow. There's also, of course, Stream Beats by Harris Heller. But honestly, if you are looking for some decent sound effects, just go Duck SFX. And usually there's a lot that comes up. Pixabay. My Instance is great. They have a lot of them. Pond 5 if you want some different ones. And you just pick one that is okay for YouTube. Hey, Wazzy. Hey, Pedro. How we doing? Hope you guys are doing well. So, now we have a... And with that quack, we can do way, way more. So, we're going back into our Streamer.Bot. And what we want this to do is now we want this to play the sound. So we're going to say set source visibility of the duck, the quack, to visible. Then we're going to wait until it's played. Let's say that we want this to last 3 seconds. And then we are going to turn it back off. Just like that. And now, if you go exclamation point early bird, every
jolly. Welcome to the
single
pie pub.
alert is
Can I
going to
take your
take
order?
3 seconds. You gotta get some starting music or something, because right now I'm just using the game that I'm playing at the time of stream. Go for Stream Tunes or Stream Beats by Harris Heller. Genuinely. Hello? Did you not do the waiting thing? I didn't put you in the queue! That was dumb. Let's try that again. There's a 15-second cooldown, but it should come back.
Oh, jolly.
Typical.
Welcome to the pie pub.
Hey,
Can I take your
JFG,
order?
how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. And now it should queue them up as well. So even though you guys spammed them, it takes 3 seconds. Which I think is always quite nice. Hey, Corrupt, how are you? How are you? See? And now we can set up an early bird redeem. There's only one problem with this current redeem. And that is that we sort of have the whole box filled. So I'm going to make a new scene. And I'm going to call this Combined Redemptions. And just so you guys know, I always do this. Always. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this early bird redemption and I'm going to add it as a scene to the Combined Redemptions. Yes, I'm going to type in YouTube chat right now. It should work. Except for one thing, and we're going to solve that in a second. See, you could see my username change, but you could not see the avatar change. And that's because YouTube doesn't allow you to grab avatars. So we're going to make a little change to the setup. That's going to make it a lot harder to do. But it's a little change that you can do, which allows you to fix this issue. So what we're going to do is now that we have this in the combined setup, we can shape this in any way we want. We can crop it. We can make it smaller. We can make sure it's centered on our screen and it comes down here, for example. Let's put it all the way at the top. However, what we have changed is the scene representation, not the early bird itself. So here it's still big. Here it's small, and that is the one we're then gonna take into our gaming scene or just chatting scene or whatever you want. Only thing we have to remember is to turn off the design background. You right click, show transition. We're gonna slide down, and then when it hides, we're gonna slide up. And now, whenever it disappears, it slides off our screen. And when it appears, it slides onto our screen. And now we go in for some Streamer.Bot magic. Because what we're going to do is we're going to put another delay of 500 milliseconds. But we're going to drag that before it actually does the sound effect. And we're going to add an OBS source visibility state for the early bird redemption to visible. Wait 3 seconds, and then we're going to duplicate that and set it to hidden. What's going to happen now... yeah, you can set that up, Saknika. That is just a lot of work. Because you're going to take up... you're going to have to code it so that it shifts along. You need to know your kerning of your font and the spacing of your letters and all that sort of stuff. That is something that I have done for this. Here, this box, the background of your name, actually resizes depending on how long your name is. It's not perfect, but it works. And it's an absolute crime to figure out. It is not an easy thing to do. Having images change in size depending on text requires you to work with what's called OBS RAW. Little challenging, not too hard. It's easily learned. It's just not one of the basic techniques that I would recommend for people. So, I've now made it disappear. And if somebody goes early bird now, then we should be able to actually see this appear on screen. It should... Hello? Please? Of course you would. No, of course you would. Why would you use the right thing? Okay. Now it should work. You call everything coding, but I know it's not. So what do you call this sequencing of event and stuff in Streamer.Bot? I mean, I call this making an action. And it's technically, it is using pre-built building blocks to make this work. Now, there was one thing I did see that we can have a look at. I saw that Saknika's name was a little too big for our group. So, can we maybe find a better transform instead of scale to inner bounds? No, there isn't. There really isn't. Then I'm gonna have to make the block a little smaller. There. Maybe? This is just finagling, right? It just takes a little bit of... How can we get things to look right? Yeah, short name having tall vibes. Exactly. You need to sort of get that millimetered right. Now... Now your name is on the right-hand side. Quite far in, to be honest. What if I do... this... And maybe we set this to be center. I know the spacing here is now a bit crazy. Honestly, I would have liked to do a double one, but I didn't think of that earlier. Yeah, I agree, but also that's because you don't see the box, right? A way that you can fix this is by putting this in one text message. So we could have the whole thing in one text message, have it be one color, and that would also solve it. I just made it hard on myself without thinking about it. Which is fine. It happens. That's a thing that just happens when you do this. You don't realize until much later, like, oh, I've actually made it really challenging for myself. Brilliant, should not have done that. Yeah, I like the two colors. I tend to like the two colors. Another thing that we could have done is have it follow the name of your Twitch. So if you have a color set for your Twitch name, then you can actually grab that color with Streamer.Bot, and this would always be your color. But we're not going to do that right now. Right now, we know we have a thing set up that comes down and goes back up as it is needed. So, technically, this early bird redeem can now be used by anyone. Saknika, look at the color of the chat highlight. That's the color you have chosen. If I do the same thing with Juice, which I will, you get a different color. That is Juice's chosen color. Yeah, I've worked my butt off on how to set that up. It is not easy, but again, it's fine. You need an OBS plugin to allow multiple text colors in one text source. It's not. And that is because of how OBS handles color. Hey, Amanda. Coming in with that early bird as well. Let's go. Add a crop pad filter to the text source and build in padding. Ooh. But that would mean that your padding has to depend on the width of your source or the width of the name. So you get in the same problem that you need to know your kerning and the width of your font. Hey, Gruxley, how are you doing? Yeah, it's definitely a rabbit hole. It is a rabbit hole. It is crazy. It is absolutely insane. But you can do that. You can absolutely do that. That's what my brain does. It goes, ooh, that's actually a good suggestion. How could I implement that? And the thing is as well, while there is a lot you can do with Streamer.Bot, there's also a lot I can't really show on stream. Am I overthinking this to change the title of Early Bird to something that matches your channel? Oh, I mean, that's easy, right? I call it the Early Bird Redeem because it's for people that come in early. But you can just take the tagline and call it a hashtag, First Crusader, if that is what you work with. Right? You just change the name. In my case, I just went with Early Bird because it's a more general term. So you can name it whatever you want. They get those worms with the branding. Well, we're gonna get onto the worms in just a second. And no, that's not even a joke. Yeah, exactly. Go with the sound that fits your team. Yeah, you can change the tagline. You can change the colors. You can change everything. Absolutely. So the thing that we're gonna do now is I want this to work on YouTube, but I also want this to work on Twitch. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of a cheeky. We're gonna have to do a little bit of a cheeky. So right now, it takes target user profile image URL. We are gonna have to do a bit of actual coding. But Jesus Christ, why are you so big? I can't even... Thank you. Now I can reach you. There we go. But the coding is going to be very, very simple. It is going to be very, very simple coding. What we are going to do is we're going to go cph, try get arg, and what that does is it just sort of gives us an argument. It grabs an argument from Streamer.Bot. And which argument do I want? Well, if you go into your action history, you go into this one. These are all the things that I have retrieved. All the arguments that exist. And the argument I want is user type. And there's two user types, Twitch or YouTube. So I go into my code and I say, I want you to grab user type. And the out value is user type. And actually, can we need to define that as a string first. New string. There we go. A new expression requires an argument list. What do you mean, argument list? I mean, okay. The string is just gonna be blank then. Default. We'll do default instead of new. That should work. There we go. Go for it, Juice. Go for it. Yeah, she definitely can, Chance. She definitely can. So, what we're going to do is I'm just going to give this a comment, and I'm going to say, this reads in where the user is doing, or where the user is doing the early bird command. And then what we are going to do is now we change the avatar based on which platform the user is on. Is it possible to trigger with a more than one word command? Yeah, you can. Yeah. It should be possible. Although don't do exclamation point early space bird. Usually what you want to do at that point is, so if you want to have a look at that, you do exclamation point command. This part has to be one word. But if you want to then do exclamation point command, for example, at Pedro 15, and the command is actually, I don't know, pat on the shoulder, this can then do, oh, Pedro's an input, and it gets 15 pats on the shoulder. So you can give more inputs, more things to work with, but you cannot do exclamation point com space mond. Because now it thinks the mond is an input. So the only thing we are going to do in the code here is if user type is Twitch, right? If we just if it's Twitch, then we are going to set string, or do I want to write this out? Yeah, I want to write this out. String avatar URL is going to be just an empty string. And then we're gonna say cph try get arg target user profile picture URL. I think that's the correct one. I just quickly need to make sure that I write it correctly. There it is. Target user profile image URL. Target user profile image URL. And that's going to be written to avatar URL. That's a type out. And otherwise, what we are going to do is user type YouTube. Well, what are they going to get? Well, they are going to get something boring. String avatar URL equals, you know what? YouTube. Wait, don't I? I think I have these somewhere. But we can do this the easy way and just go YouTube logo. And we'll grab this one. And we'll just use that URL. Because you can. Of course, you can download this URL and set it as an image. You can grab different images. You can do this differently. But for YouTube, because YouTube doesn't allow you to grab avatars, this is just the simple way of doing this. And what we have to do at the end is cph set argument. The variable name is going to be avatar URL. And what is it going to be? It is going to be avatar URL. Brands of the World is a great place to get logos. It is, yeah. It really is. There's also, I think it's called Logopedia, and there's another logo something which does them. And there's one that I used to use. I don't think they exist anymore. They did them in SVG files, which was just perfect. SVG files are the best thing to work in if you use something like not Photoshop, After Effects or Affinity Designer. By the way, if you're still using Photoshop, if you're still using the Adobe suite, consider changing that. It's expensive. You don't need that. The name avatar URL does not exist in the current content. Yes, it does. Oh, it's because I defined it in the if. Let's set that one up outside the if, and we'll be fine. There we go. So now, if I write on the YouTube side of things, and I say early bird, then it should work. But it doesn't get the right URL. And the reason it doesn't get the right URL yet is because, of course, I haven't set the URL to the right thing. It needs to be avatar URL. Okay. If somebody wants to try over on the Twitch side, and I will try it over on the YouTube side. See if, or if anybody on the YouTube side wants to try, you can do that as well. Exclamation point early bird. Okay. I may have broken it. In fact, it stopped working the moment it hit this. Also, for some reason, it takes the double name on YouTube? What? I've never seen that before. Hello? What is that double thing? That should not be oh, that's your username. Okay. Your username is just very long. Hey, Yuzu, how are you? That makes sense. Why? Oh. Never mind. Should do the code before you set the avatar. Not the other way around. I swear I'm good at this stuff. That works. Look at it go. And then if we do it on YouTube, we should just see a YouTube logo. There we go. So now we've set it up so that that logo works. And that is pretty much your early bird redeem done. It now works on YouTube. It now works on Twitch. And if we go to the combined redemptions, right, it comes in from the top and it disappears again. We can do some stuff to polish how it looks, as I discussed earlier. But that is the most important bit. There is still one thing we have to do, though. Because, of course, we need to make sure that it is an actual early bird command. We need to make sure that whenever you activate the command, it stays active for a certain time and then turns itself off. For that, we are going to make another command, another action. And we'll call this command activate. Yeah, for example, 30 minutes or 60 minutes. 30 minutes is usually what people do. And the nice thing is, this becomes super easy with Streamer.Bot. Hey, HJ, how are you doing? Because all we have to do is go core command, set command state, early bird enabled. Exactly, Chance. Yeah, because early bird means you came into the stream early and you redeemed this. Because what you can do, for example, is you can go in and give them points. So I'm going to show how to do that in a little bit. And then at the end of the month, you can have all those points, and each point is a ticket for a redeem, for example, or for a giveaway. Or you can give people, as I was talking in my video from a few weeks back when I discussed this, you can go in and say, hey, you are getting a special early bird champion Discord role because you are the early bird champion. So you can give people little rewards because they come in that early in your stream. And really, all we're going to do is set the command to enabled. Then you're going to set a core delay. And let's say it's half an hour. Well, what's half an hour? Half an hour is 30 minutes times 60 seconds times 1,000 milliseconds. So I need 1.8 million. And then after half an hour, it just turns the command off. There we go. We take the trigger. We set the trigger to be OBS streaming started on whichever OBS you have it set up on. And there you go. Now you're done. Now whenever you start, the command activates. And whenever you're done and after half an hour of streaming, the command immediately stops. Which, honestly, that is the nice thing about Streamer.Bot. Because it locks into OBS, it locks into your Twitch, it locks into your YouTube. It doesn't matter. It just locks in. Wait, the mathematician is allowed to use a calculator? Chance, I have a newsflash for you. Yeah. Mathematicians are terribly bad at mental arithmetic. Most mathematicians are terrible at mental arithmetic. They will grab a calculator as soon as they can. We're good at logic. That's different. I didn't know I was one. No, no, no. Whoa, I didn't say everybody who is bad at mental arithmetic is also a mathematician. Because else I would have not needed to go to school for 9 years to become one. I would already have been one. 9 years in university, only to unlearn how to use your head for computations. Yeah, but now, automatically when the stream starts, boom, this whole thing turns on. And then, as the stream goes on, after half an hour, the command turns off. There's one more thing we need to do, though. Because I just said that you could give people points. And I kind of want to build that with you all. Yeah, as long as you're signed in. Correct. Correct. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So the thing that we want to do is actually, we're going to give people points. And what we could do is, we could give people a worm every single time that they use this command. So if you stream 30 times and they do this 30 times,
can I take your order?
They will come in and be like, okay, now we have 30 points and 30 tickets for a giveaway or something like that. And it's super easy to do. Hey, Titan Shark. Hey, Mike Knows Best. I hope you're doing well. Hope you guys are doing amazing. So, the only thing that we do need to do for this is a bit more code. And I'm going to do this in a different box so we get something completely clean. But you could do it in the same one as well. I'm going to drag it up there in a bit. What we're going to do to start off with is read in the username. And that's it. We're just going to read in the username. So we're going to go string username cph try get arg. Come on. cph try get arg. The argument name that we want to grab is username, and the out value is username. Of course, this is how I would normally do it. That doesn't work with this one. So we're just going to go with this. What? No. Oh, I didn't close off the... Sure. Didn't close off the string. There we go. So now it will grab your username. And now I might need to cheat a little bit. And the reason I need to cheat a little bit is because I have a specific piece of code, which I can't see because Streamer.Bot is bugging out. Please let me see. Nope, it does not let me see. Okay, we're gonna have to do this differently. That's fine. Going to do is at this point, what we want to do is we want to start keeping a tally for this user, right? Now, luckily, Streamer.Bot can do this. If you go into your variables, you can see I have quite a lot of them at this point. You can have persisted user global variables. And those work for a specific person only. So, let's see if we can play a little bit with that. Whenever somebody does this, we are also going to get their user global variable. So we're gonna grab the global variable called worms, early bird worms, associated with this user. Of course, we know which user because we've read in their username. And to do that, it is get global variable. Oh, wait a second. If I need to grab a user variable, is that something else? Do I need to do that differently? This is actually something I haven't played a lot with and I can't remember. It's been a while. Streamer.Bot get global user variable. Hello? Hey, Nuki, how are you? Nope. I want to use the C# version for this. C#. Parameters. No, this is again not the way that I want. Ah, there it is. Get global variable. Yes. But you're not telling me how to get user variables. Not in this case, because I'm not just trying to get a usual argument, which is a user. The one that you just posted, Mike knows, is an argument. What I'm trying to grab is a global variable. But we can do that maybe in the silly way, which is core globals, global get, and then we say user redeemer, so that I genuinely grab that one associated to the user. We'll call this early bird worms. The destination variable is also going to be early bird worms with no default value. And here we then need to just do string. No, sorry, int. This is an integer. Early bird worms. We'll set that to default. Or actually, we set that to 0. The reason we set that to 0 is otherwise this one, if it doesn't exist, it doesn't add anything on it. There is no default value. So we'll go do try get arg. I'm awake and not crying, and that's a win. That is a win. And we will read in the early bird worms we have just read in. And it's going to go out into early bird worms. It's an integer because you're using this as a tallying mechanism. Correct. Yes. That's how I know this is an integer. What can be the cause of Streamer.Bot not showing YouTube chat only? All other platform chat notifications can be added together, such as Twitch or Kick. Oh, what you need to do, MZ, is if you go into your stream app, or sorry, into your platforms, you go into your YouTube broadcasts, and you need to check that your live, that you're currently live on, is monitored. So if this says no, you go right click and monitor. Then it automatically shows up. If you do that, you will also see that your YouTube chat has a little 1 next to it, or 2 in case you are live on 2 platforms. At that point, it should work. Hey, Halloweenette, how are you doing? You just built a new PC and it's pretty. Did you build it live on stream? Did you build it live on stream? Because that would be fantastic. It's what I did with my PC as well. I built my PC live on stream. You have a nice thucky keyboard. I love the that is perfect phrasing. I understood completely what you meant there. Yeah, anytime, MZ. Absolutely. Anytime. So we now have that global variable. And what do we want to do here? You know what? What we want to do is actually really simple. We are going to set this to increment by 1, then write to user or global user variable by and how are we exactly going to do this? By setting it to an argument and then writing it using global set variable. So all we need to do is just go early bird worms equals early bird worms plus 1 CPH set argument, and the new argument that we're gonna set is early bird worms new, and the value is just gonna be early bird worms. That's it. Hey, Nicholas, how you doing? How you doing? Just wanted to say your videos are amazing. Oh, thank you very much. That is very, very kind of you to say. Thank you very much, Nicholas. That's very, very kind. There will be a new one tomorrow. Just a random question. How many redeems do you think is too many? I think I have too many. Not on this channel, on the main channel, right? I think you should aim for... It depends on where you are in your streaming career. Usually what happens is people will start off, right? And they'll start off without affiliate at 0 viewers, so they can't have any. They will have 0 redeems. Then you become an affiliate and you'll make usually a handful, 5, maybe 7 redeems. And then people become a little bit bigger around the 10 mark and they go, wait. Wait. Let me just highlight this so people can see what I'm answering. That seems like a good idea. Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Wait. There is Blurp and there is Voice Mod. And they suddenly go, woink! Now there are 40. And they usually keep that and it will go down a bit and it will go back up a bit until they are around the 100 people. And then they go, you know what? Maybe I have a few too many. And they'll go down to 30. And then they go, maybe I still have a few too many. And they go down to 20. And they go, maybe I still have too many. And what you see is people go bigger. Think, for example, if you look at the bigger streamers on Twitch or on YouTube, they will have like 5. They will have like 5. And that's it. As funny as VoiceBot can be, I dislike it because it can make it difficult to understand the streamer. You know what? I understand that, actually. Yeah, that makes sense. That absolutely makes sense. I also feel like So the reason you see this happening, and this is quite an important thing, is because this usually is correlated to somebody's confidence on stream. Because you'll go up here and you're not that confident, right? Here you're not that confident, you're not that confident, you're not that confident. You start becoming a little bit more confident around the 10 people, but usually that is still quite low, and as you grow, your confidence becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And now you're like, oh, I don't need those redeems anymore to be interesting, to be fun, to be entertaining. And the bigger you become, the more you go, wait,
Jolly.
I'm actually doing something
Can I
that's
take
really
your order?
interesting. I'm actually doing something that people find fun. People are here not for the game. They are here for me. But all these redeems stop me from doing what I do. And the moment that you realize that, which by the way is why like I replaced 10 of my redeems in like a few weeks ago, and I'm still thinking about removing a few. Why the redeems suddenly plummet? Because you're like, oh, but I'm actually confident enough now to say my content is good, and I don't want to be interrupted by my content every time. And that's the point where the redeems start sinking. So just to give you guys an idea, so this is not my main channel, as you guys know. Many of you know, but for those that don't, my main channel is a partner channel. I am partnered under the name MathmanEU. You can see my beautiful face right here. And the thing that is the problem at this point is, if you look here, I still need to complete that one. I haven't clicked the complete button. We have 3 first redeems, then the hi, I'm here redeem. Let's count together. It's just a little game. I don't need to really think about it. Sound redeem, highlight message, that's the one that Twitch does, and then we have sound redeem, joke redeem, joke redeem. The pink ones are all sound. These ones are all little effects, like a barrel roll of my camera or a cheer, and it just sort of, here are all my voice redeems and more sound redeems, and we have the Meow Roy, we have the Yoshi. It's a lot. It's a lot, and I do, because it was more. There were 7 more sound redeems, and I've removed them. And then we have the change the light redeem somewhere. If it's on here. I think it's quite cheap. I may be scrolling past it. There. Change the light color. Yeah, that's also one. Hey, Arian. How are you doing? How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Barry's best redeem is the friendly greeting he always gives new chatters. It's because, I mean, you guys are here with me, right? I might as well give you guys a good welcome. Your chat may riot if they can't lick the X of the Meow Roy anymore, though. Yeah, so I've been thinking about that, and I can't find my Meow Roy file anymore. I wanted to keep it, but make it a bit smaller, so it doesn't block off the whole screen. The great asset spam is quite funny. That's also one where I'm like, that is funny. You like redeems for the extra opportunities for interaction they bring, but perhaps they should be more passive, less intrusive. Especially, Lupar, when you start... that's what I was saying here, right? With this graph. When you are at 0 viewers, you usually are like, oh, I want redeems. I want as many as possible. Because your confidence, which is the red line, your confidence is still very low. But as your confidence grows, you also feel, oh, people are here for me. I can entertain people. People find it fun what I do. And at that point, you're not sort of burdened by the redeems anymore, and they become a nuisance or intrusive. And that is where you do this, where they just collapse down. And you know what the 5 usually are? The 5 usually are highlight a message. They are unlock a random emote. change the light color or something else little bit like small and passive. Then there is one that is like my supporter of the week, where they're like, oh, you give recognition. They're usually around the 10,000 to 25,000 points. And then there is the outrageous one. This is like 500,000 points and it does nothing. Or you get a piece of merch, or you get a code to a game or something like that. Those tend to be the 5 that people have. Once you go up to people that are, you know, hundreds and hundreds or thousands of viewers, that is the 5 that they have. As long as they're self-explanatory, I don't think it's an issue. It's when I don't understand what will happen if I redeem them that scares me. You know what, Juice? I have actually been tempted to make a button that is 10,000 points, and whenever somebody redeems it, it times them out for 10 seconds. Just because. Or something like that. Like, it adds... It's just a little meme, and that's it. I remember when people were doing exclamation point egg. I have this game with eggs where you can get eggs during the Easter season. People were doing this after the Easter season. So I made it every time they redeemed it, they would get timed out for 10 seconds. You're on 5 to 7 stage now, just started. Confidence is indeed still a bit low. But once that confidence builds, and that takes time. Don't get me wrong, that really does take time. You will get to a point where you're sort of like, you know what? Let's not anymore. You want to use a certain redeem at a certain time in the stream. If you don't find it on time and redeem it late, it just feels bad. That's true. That's true. You're almost at your 3-year mark, and the number of redeems you've retired because I tried them and hated how they ruined stream immersion is a lot. You know what? I feel that. I really, don't get me wrong, I like my redeems. I like a lot of my redeems. But sometimes we're in the middle of an explanation, or we're in the middle of a chat and somebody redeems it and you're just like, now I have a sentence I can't say. And it's hard to find that balance. It's slightly evil and I love it, so click it. You click it though? Yeah, I get that. I get that, Corrupt Mind. I would as well. Let me just see here. I totally get that. The amount of times I've just deleted a comment because it felt we had already moved on is a lot. Agreed. Yeah. And that's also part of sort of the streamer's job, right? They need to go in and say, oh, this is interesting, this is not. And that is something I'm only learning now. I'm usually the sort of person that will answer any comment that comes in. I try and answer any comment. But at a certain point, it's like, oh, that is completely off topic. I'm just not going to say anything about that. Because it would diverge the conversation. And having the conversation is the #1 thing to do when you're having streamers. When you're streaming, sorry. I have a channel point redemption, and it's for long-time viewers. Once you get 1 million points, you hit the stream kill switch, and it shuts OBS off. DJ, while that is amazing, I'd be very worried if I did that. I'd be very, very worried. Yeah, I don't want people to end my stream in the middle of nowhere. Hey, Lena, how are you doing? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, that's the Thanos power. It could be cool, though, if you do, like, a video with it, and then just the Thanos snap and everything turns off. That could be quite funny. I'm doing well, Lena. Thank you very much for asking. Exactly, Corrupt Mind. Exactly. Remember, confidence is not will they like me. It's I will be okay if they don't. Exactly, Mama Sugar. But it's also, and this is a thing, right? And this is actually one I want to talk about. This particular comment. Confidence is not will they like me. It's I will be okay if they don't. But it's also I make the content I like. And I'm okay if other people don't like that. Or I'm okay if other people choose not to be here for that. You can't satisfy the whole world anyway. So you might as well. You might as well create for you. Because if you create for you, you attract other people who also like the thing you like. Which also means you don't care if you go to a different game, if you go to a different genre. Once you get to the size where you have this community, you can do whatever you want because you're playing the games that you like. Therefore, you're playing the games that they most likely find interesting, or they at least enjoy the way you play the games. It's great. It's great. Freya's doing very well, Lena. Thank you for asking. Best way to make content is make the things you enjoy. That's why I do the things I do. That is genuinely why I do the things I do. I love the content that we make together, especially sort of the streamer education, the answering questions, the talking. It's great. You love the creative parts, designing UI, branding. I love interacting when it happens. But when I try everything and nothing happens, that's indeed the hardest part. It is. It is. And if you have nobody to interact with... Oh, that did not come up correctly, but that's fine. That's fine. If you have no one to interact with, right? I can highly recommend checking out the video that's coming out tomorrow. It's all about this. It's how do you talk to yourself if nobody's in chat, if nobody is there? And one of the things that I say in that video, and I will tell you right now, is you're currently going through the hardest part. The hardest part of chatting, of being interactive, is when you're at those 0 to 5 viewers. It becomes easier the more people there are, because you can read a comment, talk about it, read a comment, talk about it, which is exactly what we're doing right now, by the way. Yeah, exactly what we're doing right now. You got regular viewers that have been watching me for almost 5 years and still haven't hit 1 million points. Oh my god. Okay, that's fair. I have a wife who has over 800,000 points in 3 years of viewing. I've tried to bring in a buddy to talk to in stream. I did try and pose a question, and it did work once, but only for like a minute. I won't give up though. Your tips are helping him slowly polishing my channel and style. That's awesome. You will, Lupar. As everybody says, the longer you stream, the easier it becomes, because streaming is a skill. It genuinely is. It's not just, oh, big streamers are big because they were lucky. No, they've spent often years, average 7 years, building their skills before they were able to explode. I know that Pirate Software, for example, credits watching a lot of comedy and watching comedians, especially stand-up comedy, to learn how to riff and to banter and to immediately be able to react and think quickly. I know that there's a buddy of ours, Thorlar, who has streamed for, I believe it's 6 or 7 years now? And he really focuses on reading and talking about himself. But if you do that every single day for 5 years, of course you're going to be good at it. Eventually. It's just time. It takes time. Okay. Chance is asking, if you really had a perfect world, would you still be playing Phasmophobia? That's a good question. You know what? I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to highlight it so people can see it. Because for those that don't know, Phasmophobia is my main game on my partner channel. I play that game a lot. Would I still be playing that? I think yes. But I think in a very different capacity. In a perfect world, we would still be playing Phasmo around sort of the big updates and the special events. And then in between, we would be trying out all the new games that come out, right? We would try out Satisfactory. We would try out Subnautica 2 when it comes out. We would try out Kingdom Come Deliverance, Baldur's Gate, because I'm very varied in what I like in my games. But I would still play Phas. Absolutely. I would just like to do more varied stuff and experience these things together as well. Last year, you lost your job and also all the friends I thought I had, so it's been really interesting trying to stream and talk about things, because I have been isolated for pretty much a year, so I have nothing to talk about. You rely on the game to provide me with things to speak on, and that's also really hard. Yeah, that is really, really challenging. And for that juice, where is mine? It's on my other desk because I was writing in it earlier. With that, I can only recommend get a notebook. A paper notebook. And preferably one that's really small, so it fits like in the inner pocket of a coat, or in a or somewhere in like in a small handbag, because whenever something happens while you're out, whenever something happens when you are doing things or that sort of stuff, you can just quickly write down, oh, this happened. Now you have a list of things you could talk about on stream, which can be really helpful. Like, that can genuinely be extremely, extremely helpful. Go for it, Lupar. Go for it. You are more than welcome to pop in. If you do want to talk more about this stuff, also check out my main channel, because that is where I'm live most times. I'm only live on these channels when I have extra time. So yeah, please do check that one out as well. And you can also ask things about content creation there. Your art teacher had the same advice, just a little doodle here and there. Yeah. Just it can be like a little notebook. Just a tiny little notebook, because it allows you to write things down. The last thing that I wrote down actually happened yesterday. This morning. It happened this morning. And it was absolutely hilarious. So for those that don't know, we had a baby last month, and she's super cute, but she's also a menace. So this morning, when I was placing her against me, I just changed her diaper and clothed her, put her against me. The first thing she does, I had not put her gloves on yet. The first thing she does was put her hands right on my chest, right on my moobs. Grab and pull. This child is a month old and she gave me a purple nurple. A double purple nurple. Why? I mean, come on. Like, that's the sort of stuff, like the little things that you can write down, and you can talk about that in those first 10, 15 minutes, 30 minutes where you chat before you go into the games. Yeah, she was hungry. Yeah, exactly. That was it. It was actually that she was hungry. Yeah, we had just bathed her, so she was all awake and alert. I have a little book, which is like every month with Daddy, where every month I need to write little stories, and that's the one I wrote in for her first month. Yeah, so that she can read that in 10 years. Absolutely. To find topics to talk about, you can also search for icebreaker questions. There are thousands. Find ones that are linked to your interest or things you would like to know about your viewers. You know what is a great one? And again, I'm giving you guys half the video that's coming out tomorrow, but that's fine. You know what's a great one? There are questions you can ask Mama Sugar, and I think these are probably the best questions that you can ask. Why is that so small? That's interesting. They are tribal questions. And what is a tribal question? A tribal question is a question that divides a group into two pieces. Agree and disagree. So, for example, favorites. What's your favorite ice cream? What's your favorite pizza topping? What's your favorite, I don't know, makeup brand? Anything that is, what is your favorite? Or exactly, do you like pineapple on pizza? Do you like peanut butter? Do you like crunchy peanut butter or smooth peanut butter? Or you can even do it if you're really cheeky. If you're really cheeky, you don't ask, do you like pineapple on pizza? Don't ask that. Instead, you put in your title, pineapple on pizza is the best topping. Same thing. People will come in just to disagree with you or agree with you. But now you've asked a question in your title. And on Twitch, that can be massive. Yeah, Jaxie, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Pineapple on pizza. Yeah, it's a hook. It's a hook. Yeah, rabble. Oreos are the best cookie. I disagree, personally. Oreos, I disagree, so my title would instead be Oreos belong in the trash. And if you're bad at games, Oreos belong in the trash just like me. Is it a good trick to ask a question in the title versus stating what you're doing? Yes. Yeah, it works. So what my titles tend to look like is either you can do question, right? Or what you are doing. And then you do like a little emote. Let's do that. Game. And then I say like exclamation point TTS, exclamation point early bird, exclamation point whatever, right? You do a few of your commands. Because then you're telling people what you're doing, or you ask a question. Then you tell them what game it is, because 9 out of 10 times that does come up. People will ask you, even in there if they're in the right category, they will ask you, and then you give them some commands. Follow up. Oh, that's a good follow up. Don't you think your fans have connected with you strongly enough now that you don't need to play that game anymore? I found you through Content Delta and didn't even know the game, but I still watch because of the side chats. Okay. I'm gonna open up a little bit about what I see, right? Because I think that's important, and I really enjoy I not enjoy, but I don't keep anything for myself. I have no secrets when it comes to content creation. The reason that why you would still want to play one specific game on your streams is because you can see it. You can 100% see it. So normally you have a normal viewer graph on Twitch, looks like this. This is what is called the hockey stick. In your first hour or so, you'll have a lot of people joining. Then in your second hour, you get to sort of what is your natural maximum. This is how many people will find you if no more new people find you or raid, right? And it will up and down a little bit, but that is sort of how it looks. And then you'll see like little dips and that sort of stuff. So that's your first 2 hours. I did a test throughout the last half of December and the first half of January. Instead of going live on Phasmophobia, right, which is my main game, I went live in just chatting. Because every first 45 minutes to an hour of my streams, as you know, we tend to just chat. We tend to just talk about shit and all that sort of stuff. And then after about an hour, I go into the fast category. So we talk about content creation, we talk about life, we talk about, we have people coming in and saying, hey, this happened in school, or I got a new job offer, or I have an interview, what can I do? Those sort of questions. Because, as you guys know, I'm old and I have much life experience. What happened was this. About 60% of the people that normally come in the first hour came in. The moment I switched to Phas, it did that. But it still kept sort of way lower. It capped out way lower than what you would normally expect. And funny enough, after this difference never recovered. Never recovered. So, as a streamer, you need to make a separation. And you need to make a separation between what do I want and what is good for the stream or your numbers or whatever you're focusing on at that point. So that is one of the reasons why I did not start going live in just chatting anymore, because people understood I was chatting in the first hour anyway. Except when I went live with Phas, people would come in and sit there for an hour, while if I went live with just chatting, people would just not come in. And it was a significant difference. Like a serious difference. A difference that has effects to this day. Yeah. You can expect, if you have a main game, if you are a one game or one genre streamer, if you switch to a second game, you on average lose 30 to 50% of your viewership overnight. Like, if you just go live with a different game, even if it's very similar, Phasmophobia to Demonologist, Apex to, let's say, or say Counter-Strike to Valorant, or Overwatch to Marvel Rivals, you still lose just an absolute bucket of viewers. And that transition from having a single game to a main game to variety streaming, that is probably one of the hardest transitions to make. Because, yes, you grow quicker when you have a single game or a main game. But, honestly, that switch to variety can cost you a lot. Which is difficult. It is really, really difficult. Which is why people set it off so long, right? People won't do this until they are on 200, 300, maybe 500 viewers. That's why this happens. And if you start out as variety, you run into a different problem. You run into a very different problem, and that is this problem. If you start off as variety, and you, for example, start off with, I don't know, Valorant. and the next stream, I will answer both Saknika and Mama Sugar in just a second. So if you start with Valorant and the next time you stream, right? You stream something like... let's go with Phasmo. And then the time after, you stream something that is Stardew Valley. Well, you might get people that like Valorant that come into your stream here, but the next time you're streaming something else, they don't come in. And what is the chance that somebody likes all three of these games enough that they want to watch it? Well, you actually only cover this portion of the market now, which is why growing as a variety streamer is probably the hardest way to go. You just don't get returning viewers. Yeah, so while you are starting as variety, it's way harder to build core viewership, to build people that come in that first hour, because they like everything that you do. Specifically, they need to like you as a person. And that is where the issue comes in. It's possible, it's just not easy. And 9 out of 10 times, if you do see people grow in this area, it's because they grew on YouTube and TikTok first. So they already have people coming in for their community or for their personality, sorry. They already come in for the streamer's personality. Jaxie is saying, same, I don't care about Faz anymore, but I've met too many excellent streamers through it, so I still watch a lot of it. I get that. I absolutely understand that. If you had to do it all over again, would you still have started with a game? One game, yes. Would I have started with Faz? Maybe not. I maybe have chosen a different game because I didn't start on Faz. So when I started streaming, I did Valheim. And Valheim led me to Subnautica, which crashed halfway through, so I played Raft. Then from Raft, I went to The Forest. From The Forest, I went to Dead by Daylight. And then I got to Phasmo. Would I do it all... if I would do it all over again, would I still do Faz? I don't know. That's why I'm trying to grow as a variety streamer, because I tried doing mainly Faz and you burned out so fast and found yourself unable to stream. I get that. I am going to quickly answer these questions. First off, Saknika, why are people doing at themselves in their titles? Because if you mouse over their titles, they can follow you without clicking into the stream. And they can also see your socials without clicking into the stream. That's the only reason. And Mama Sugar is asking, what have you put in your title? Chatting, game, then game, game 1, then game 2, chatting. You could do that. I just don't think that would... would that help? Like, if you put in your title that you are just chatting, or... Wait, I need to understand this correctly. Do you mean that your title would be, chatting, emoticon, game? Or do you mean that you go live in, for example, the Phasmo category, and then have as your title chatting, and then in Faz category, and then turn it later into what you're doing Faz in the Faz category? Like, the category is just chatting, but in your title starting with chatting, then playing some game. I've tried that. It does not help. It does nothing. And I don't know why. I don't understand it, because my titles have always been whatever I'm doing, then the game. So people could always see what game we're going to be playing that day. It was just, I wanted to start in just chatting because we were just chatting. What percentage of my viewers found me through the YouTube channel? That depends. So if we're talking my gaming channel, which yes I have but don't use actively, very little. If we're talking Content Delta, I think viewers I will have about 10%. I think it's about 10%, honestly. But that is mostly because I'm not entirely sure. I just know that there are a few, like Gruxley, like yourself, like Boo. No, Boo found me through a raid and then stuck around. But I know we have a few. I think it's Mike Knows Best as well. Who else? I'm forgetting one person. I know I'm forgetting one person. I can't remember their name for the life of me. Yeah, I think it's about 10%. How long should a new streamer be on the just chatting scene? I used to, but because no one is chatting, I've just started switching over to the game screen. You start when you're on 0-ish viewers. So let's say under 5 viewers, you just start in the game. You just start in the game, you say hello, you do your thing, and then you jump in. Yes, Wraith. Yes. You as well, exactly. There's a few more. I know there's a few more. But yeah, that's... I really like doing these sort of streams as well, where we just chat and we do different things. Because this is just a way more interactive way of streaming. And I really like working on Streamer.Bot. I really like making stuff for other people as well, which is, you know, why I do these Content Delta streams from time to time. But that, coming back to your question, Juice, I would just start with your game until you get to a point where you have at least one person joining you right from the start. And they are not lurking, they are actively joining you. From that moment onward, you start going live with just chatting for 10 minutes. And try keeping it to 10 minutes minimum. Find something, find a topic, find something that happened during your day that you can use 10 minutes for to just chat. It doesn't really need to be anything interesting or specific, but make sure you can do that. Because at that point, you start training yourself and training your community, stupid as that sounds, getting them used to, you start by chatting. And they come in for the chat. And that's where you start binding people to your personality. And I swear by this. I want to say this about every single streamer that is growing now. Not those that grew 10 years ago. Every streamer that grows now grows because of their personality. They don't grow because of anything else. MathBot, I swear, can you go away? Yes, exactly. Juice, 100%. Get a ringer, someone who you trust, that will sit with you for the first 10 minutes. And so that they can sit there and banter with you. Exactly. Yeah, MathBot, you're drunk. Go home. You're on the wrong channel. Be gone. Why are you even here? That's actually a really good question. I don't know. It's fine. I'm just going to keep deleting that message if I see them. What are some good ways, this is actually a nice question as well, to organize files, pics, sounds, etc. for various sources through OBS, Streamer.Bot, etc. So, if you want to see my way of doing this, I don't know if this worked for you, but if you want to see my way of doing this, in OBS itself, you can't see that in this OBS, but I have done it a little bit over here. In OBS itself, I always preface things. So any text source starts with TXT. Any browser source starts with BR. That way, when I look at the list of things to add, it always has the exact same preface every single time. Which I think is a fantastic way to do it for yourself, because you immediately know what source you're dealing with. And if you get a list of these sources, you will always see them. You will also always see them in the right part of that list. So you're just shrinking the list that you're really looking through. If you're talking about on your PC, let me show you this. Can I zoom in on this? I cannot. This is how I save everything. So, preface everything with a number that counts up. 00, that's my software. If I go in here, we have OBS, Speaker.Bot, Streamer.Bot. Planning, there's nothing in there right now. Video files. Oh, video files is 02. Background, starting zoom clips, be right back screen, stinger transition, call to actions, lower thirds. If I go into my redemptions, is the video redemption or an audio redemption? Video redemption. And all of them are numbered. All of them are numbered because then they are in a fixed list and you don't need to think about how they organize inside the folders. I really like the way this works. I've done this recently. Audio files, everything is in its own folder. Nothing is loose. Nothing at all. Because the moment that you have a loose file or loose files, that's where everything sort of breaks down. So that's the way that I have it set up. Of course, there are other ways possible, but that is my way. Hey, Ro, how are you doing? How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Yeah, anytime, Mama Sugar. Anytime. No, I don't add sources from my download folder. Because I end up deleting them. Everything is in that one folder. Like, literally, if you look at this... Can I show this? 1 second. Let me check. I cannot. Okay, so I have everything. This is all in one folder. This I can show. And if you go into my software, there's all my software. It's all in one folder. I used to Git everything that was for my stream. I don't anymore. You know why? Git starts complaining when you try to upload 15 gigabytes of video data. Git does not like. So I don't anymore. But instead, Ashkapal has helped me set up a home server, which now automatically syncs between my 3 computers. My work computer, this computer that I'm currently streaming on, and my server. Yeah, Git is like, who do you think you are? Actually, I found out Git can't handle files that are bigger than 400 megabyte unless you build in a specific protocol, which I was not going to do. Question about Streamer.Bot and weighted random answers. Does the value have to equal the 100% or will it auto-balance? It auto-balances. You can just set them all to 1. Yeah, you can set them all to 1. That's fine. How I see it is instead of thinking, oh, it has a 0.25, which is a 25% chance. Just set them all to 1 and say, oh, it is a 1 in total number of options chance. And if you want things to be more likely, you set them to 2 out of total number of options chance. Although, at this point, this will automatically become n+1, right? But, yeah, that's how I tend to think about it instead. Because, Streamer.Bot auto-balances. They auto-balance. Plus, also, try calculating 1/11 or 137th if you're really unlucky. Where were we? Where were we? Yes. We were setting up a counter, weren't we? Okay, now that we have done the code, right, we have this early birds worm new argument. We now need to set that, I think. The variable name is going to be user dependent. Early bird worms. And the argument we're going to use is early birds worms new. There we go. And that's now set up. Anytime, Juice. Anytime. So what this now does is it grabs the early bird worms. It adds one. And it writes it back for each individual user. So if we go early bird, if you guys want to do the command, we should be able to see those appear for each and every one of you. I grab the variables. Maybe not. Where are they? Persistent user globals. That's where they should appear. Switch, please. Yeah, there we go. So, Specking, you now have one worm. Gruxley also has one worm. Chance also has one worm. And there you go. You can find your worms. Chance now has 2 worms. But that doesn't affect Gruxley's and Specking's. And it will also do that if we go over to YouTube, where this command also works. I just have to switch over to YouTube and find Content Delta, and there it also counts. So now it automatically counts all of these. Every single one. Sagnika also got one. There you go. So now you have a counter here as well, which is really all you're going to need. Of course, at the end of the month, you want to set all those counters to 0. That would require a bit more coding, but you can also do that manually. You can just go in, find the Twitch one, and just double click and set the value to 0. Like, I can give Gruxley 250 worms if I want him to. But this way it at least counts, which is quite nice. This is one of the ways that I really like using Streamer.Bot. I need to get more into this idea of how you do user persistent ones and how you can rank them. But it's really cool. Hey, Midnight Carnage, how you doing? Could you just choose an action to clear variables and a timer with 30 days? Yes, but I wouldn't want to, because I don't want them randomly. Can the count then be put as a message in chat? Shall we see? We will go... Of course. Yeah, I'm gonna duplicate this one. The avatar one. Because, of course, we want to be able to put that in chat in both sides. So, we need that user type. We don't need the avatar URL. Instead, we want the username, or user in this case. And we will set that to user. And in this case, we want it to send a message. And the message is going to be user. Or let's go, thank you for being an early bird user. You have early... We will need to read that in just a second. Early bird worms. Worms. And we're going to do the exact same thing on YouTube. Except on YouTube, it is called send YouTube message. And string... No. Int... early bird worms equals default cph try get arg user type. No, not user type. It is early bird worms new, and we set that to early bird worms new. I'll call this new just to keep the naming consistent. Then I just need to put that over here and here. Compile. What are you whining about? Oh, I forgot to do that. Okay. Semicolons. They're important. CPH does not contain a... Oh, yeah, because it's YouTube capital T. That should now work. That should now work. It took me way longer than it should have, by the way, to understand why you kept saying worms. Yeah, it's worms. Because you can get worms. Oh, there's a bug in the message. There we go. You now can grab worms, and they count for you, and they send it in a message. And it should also work over on YouTube, which we will test. There we go. It does work. It does work. And Gruxley has 251 worms because he got bonus worms. You have a daily check-in feature redeemable via channel points rewards in Streamer.Bot. Is there a way to code it slightly differently so people who redeemed in first 30 minutes get the early bird? Yes. Yes, it is. It is not easy, but it is. So... how would you do that? Trying to think of the easiest way to do this. You know what? No, it's actually not that complex if you use something that I have. There is something... This is from the Streamer.Bot website or from their Discord. And what it allows you to do is get the timestamp for the current moment in your stream. Specifically, it gives you a code. Right? It gives you the timestamp how long your stream has been live. So what you would have to do, and we'll call this early bird. And now, of course, we have something called redemption. So we'll call this, actually, I'm going to rename that one to early bird, early bird. And we'll make another one called, not Waldo Searchlight, that's for another time. Early bird. And we'll go early bird, not early. So that is your usual, or we call it daily check-in. So that is the thing you would do, right? The thing that you have made. And the early bird is then a copy of it, really. Couldn't you just get off a timer with 30 minutes at the start? If a timer is running, then issue a reward, else no. No, because Streamer.Bot doesn't do timers. Not in that way. The timers that Streamer.Bot does is timed actions. It can't do timers.
Oh,
Gary!
quickly.
Gary! Thank you
I'd
for
like
the
to spend some help
raid!
making all
You
your drinks.
absolute legend. Thank you very much. So you need to grab that timestamp of how long have I been live. And then what we do is we make one more early bird redemption. Put it in that group. And here the first thing we do is we run the action to get the VOD timestamp. And I'll put a test in just to show you guys how this is gonna look. You can do this. And then you'll see there should be a timestamp somewhere. VOD uptime 2 hours, 18 minutes, and 47 seconds. Uptime formatted. Which is always going to be 2 digits for both for hours, minutes, and seconds. And that is something we can use. The uptime formatted. And what that does is we can go now into, again, into C. We're going to say uptime. This is going to be a string. Uptime. Formatted. Default. And then we go CPH, try get arg. And the arg is uptime formatted. And the out value is also uptime formatted. Except they really want the time to be capitalized, so we will agree with that. Not all code paths return a value. What do you mean? Oh, because I don't have return true here. Actually, you know what I can do? I can do the shout-out specking. There we go. And we are currently building an early bird redeem. We're making it a little more advanced now. So we know the format this is going to be, right? Uptime formatted is of format XX hour, XX minute, XX seconds. And now we're going to check if we are in the right time slot. And to check if we are in the right time slot, we are going to say... Actually, let's hard code it for now. You can change it, but let's hard code it for now. So one of the things that we could do is... What could we do? What could we do? Well, let's say if it's... We're going to check hours first. So we're going to go ahead and say uptime hours. Which we want to be an integer. What is that going to be? Well, we know the format is XX hour. So we need the first 2 pieces of that string. So we are going to use... oh, what is it called? Is it just substring? I think it's just substring. I'm not sure. Yeah, I know. I know. You know what? Where is MathBot? I can't even see him. Can we just... Thank you, Frosty. That was exactly what I was going to do. So, uptime hours is going to be... What are we going to do? We are going to take those first two. I think it's substring. So, it's uptime formatted substring. 01, 02. I might have to check the C# code for this. C# substring, please. It is substring. I was right. Starts from a specified character. No, I need a specific one. It has a specified length. So we start at 0 and length 2. And then we need uptime minutes. However, of course, we want to have this as an integer. So we need to int parse this. Because it comes out as a string. Int parse. It's actually the exact same thing. It is literally this with different starting numbers. Because we are going to start from position 4 instead, which is this X. No, sorry. 3, which is that X. Because we have 0 index stuff. So 0, 1, 2, and 3, and it's length 2. And then we should have uptime seconds if you really want to complete this. And that will be starting from 5 at that point. Now, hopefully that is correct. So I'll do CPA send message just so you guys can see. Uptime hours to string. And it should now, if I did this right, once I trigger this, it should trigger it in such a way that it sends exactly what we need into the chat. From method group. No, it's not a method group. I'm parsing it. Have I tried writing this in an IDE? Yes, the problem is, Legendary, writing this in an IDE makes it so you don't actually get the Streamer.Bot value. So Streamer.Bot themselves have a whole load of... Show you. They have a whole load of different... Please. A whole load of different commands. And you can't import those into the IDE. Which means that I constantly have to Alt-Tab. But you can absolutely do that. I tried using Notepad++ for it. Which is as close to an IDE I get. And then copy-pasting is really useful. I know. The problem is that that becomes a difficulty where you can't read in the internal commands. Yeah. I even have it, like, set up so it actually shows well on stream. If you look, this looks a lot better. If I then also set it to actually be C#. But the problem is that at that point, you know... I can't check, oh, what are the CPH commands again? Except for the ones that I already have in here. So we have CPH send message. That is breaking, which is interesting. It tells me it is a method group. It should definitely not be a method group. Why is that coming out as a method? Oh! Adoy! Thank you! We need to make sure that the method does the thing it needs to do. Now, if I test this, the people in Twitch should see that message coming out. They don't. Find refs, maybe? Mm-hmm. Maybe not. I wonder what is breaking. Wait, does it even get to this code? Got there. Just to check if it got to this code. CPH sends message. Small e. Thank you. It is a bit of a challenge. It really is, Legendary. I wish I could have all those things automatically import with all the things to an IDE, because also at that point, this is a lot easier for you guys to read because I can make it bigger and smaller. You can't do that here. Here you can literally... Oh, wait, what? When did they add that? Never mind. Oh my god, finally. Yeah, never mind. We're good. We're good. Never mind. It's all good. You guys can read. Oh man, that feels so much better. I felt very self-conscious about you guys not being able to read what's going on. But apparently they've now added that you can zoom in. Oh, timing. I know. It's awesome. The problem is, this is going to become a YouTube video, right? And everybody is going to comment in the first, oh, I don't know, 3 hours? 2.5 hours? Can't you just make it bigger? And then they suddenly realize once they get here, yes, he could. Brilliant. Okay, so something breaks here. We have a formatting here. 0, 1. Is this length? Or do I do 0, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 with substring? Does that work? Then they'll proceed to tell you that you know nothing? Exactly. Yeah, oh, but every time you close it jumps back. 5 should be a 6. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, yeah. 6, 7, right? You know what? That would be amazing, Legendary. That would genuinely be really, really cool. Or make the zoom permanent. I'm okay with that too. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay. Make it length 2. Aha! There we go. Now it works. So now we can do the whole text idea. Now I have to zoom in every time. So these are actually just for testing. Let's get rid of those. Now we're going to check if we are in the right time slot. So we first read in all the variables. Read in the time variables into the correct format, which is integers. And now we need to ask it if it's in the right size, right? So we're going to say if uptime hours equals 0. Great. That's what we want, because we're making it for 30 minutes. If uptime minutes is less or equal to 30, it continues again. That's great. And if uptime seconds, well, we don't really care about uptime seconds, right? So less or equal than 60. Because, what does it do then? It does CPH, send action, is it? Yes, send action. And the action it should be sending is daily Oh, I know about the zoom to mouse script. It is terrible. The problem with the zoom to mouse script, Chance, is it zooms in OBS, which means if you are streaming in 1080p, you're zooming in on the 1080p thing and it stays super blurry. It doesn't preserve the sharpness, which is why I much prefer this version. Especially because I'm on a 40p screen, so my canvas is already downsized from 1440p to 1080p, which means it would just get really, really blurry. I've used it before and didn't like it. This is better. So we'll do, and what's the action? What did we actually call the action? Daily check-in. That's the redemption it should be doing. No, it shouldn't. It should be doing the early bird redemption. And once it's done that, then it returns true. So it just stops. That's what we want it to do. Otherwise, else, it runs the daily check-in. And there you go. Now it checks if it's in the first hour, if it's less than 30 minutes, if it's less than 60 seconds, otherwise it does this. And there we go. That's how you can set that up like that. Of course, if you set this to 1, you need to set this to now, oh yeah, that is an issue. If you want this to work for hours, right? Let's say you want this to work for the first hour, you need to set this to 59 and then this to 60. This to 59. Because otherwise, what it's going to do, that's a little frustrating. Otherwise, what it's going to do, it's going, oh, it is 1 hour. Oh, it's 59 minutes. That's okay. Yeah, because you're, of course, checking less or equal. Although you could probably... Could you do that? I mean, you could put in another clause here, right? But it just becomes really, really challenging. So something like 30 minutes for 1 hour, I would just go 1. Is it less or equal than 1? Because now it checks technically 90 minutes. Just keep it to under an hour. So set this, if you really want to set this to 59. Because that is, you know, up to 59 minutes and 59 seconds. Which is also the first hour. I need a Freya beard yank redeem where her little arms come in and pull on your beard. If her arms were long enough, yes, but no. No, we have a very strict agreement of no Freya on stream. No Freya on any social media. But that's how you can do that. They can only reach moobs. Exactly, Mama Sugar. They can only reach moobs. You're 100% right. That's how this works. 100%. And that is your daily check-in. Your early bird redeem done. It can now work. It can count. And we even have it set up so whenever you do the redemption, of course, at that point, you need to move this trigger, the command trigger, to here. Right? You need to move this one to the redemption itself so it chooses which one to do. But that should also not be a problem. That should definitely not be a problem.